The West should stop financing any country including Israel in the Middle East. They should finance their own homeless and poor population that are left living on the streets with no food. There is a great saying, charity starts at home. Stop giving money to crooks like Netanyahu, Hamas, PLO, Zelensky, and other corrupt leaders. The West should stop financing any of these countries in the Middle East. Let's see how long they will continue fighting. All the terrorist groups are financed by the Western world. This is a big game to create enemies and keep them busy killing each other and selling more weapons. The equation is very simple. Financing terrorism plus wars equals profits. Poor taxpayers are led to believe that they are helping to save the world from major wars like in Ukraine. There was a very funny French comedian Coluche who said, "One is cutting the onions and the other is crying." It sounds better in French. Rethinking Western financial aid in the Middle East, a call for domestic priorities. The debate over Western financial assistance to countries in the Middle East has been a contentious issue, with proponents arguing for global stability and opponents questioning the efficacy and morality of such aid. This essay explores the perspective that the West should redirect its financial focus toward addressing domestic issues, particularly homelessness and poverty, rather than continuing to finance nations in the Middle East. Points and examples. Prioritizing domestic issues. The charity starts at home principle underscores the need for Western nations to address internal challenges before extending financial support abroad. Example: Western countries, including the United States and various European nations, grapple with homelessness and poverty within their borders. Questionable recipients of aid. Concerns are raised about the allocation of funds to leaders with questionable ethical standards, such as Benjamin Netanyahu, Hamas, and the PLO. Example: accusations of corruption within political leadership in countries like Israel and Palestine have fueled skepticism regarding the proper utilization of foreign aid. Impact on regional conflicts. The assertion that Western financing contributes to ongoing conflicts in the Middle East is based on the belief that such funds inadvertently support terrorism and perpetuate hostilities. Example: critics argue that the cycle of violence in the region is sustained by the flow of money, creating an environment where various factions continue to engage in conflicts. Profits from wars and terrorism. The claim that Western financing fuels terrorism and wars to generate profits highlights the economic aspects of geopolitical instability. Example: the military-industrial complex is often cited as a beneficiary of prolonged conflicts, as increased arms sales contribute to economic gains for certain industries. Misguided perception of aid impact. The belief that Western aid is instrumental in preventing major wars is challenged, as critics argue that it may inadvertently contribute to regional instability. Example: the ongoing conflict in Ukraine is cited as an example where financial aid from the West may not necessarily lead to a resolution, and some argue it could even exacerbate tensions. Analogy from Coluche. The humorous analogy by French comedian Coluche emphasizes the discrepancy between the purported noble goals of aid and the unintended consequences of geopolitical actions. Example: the idea of a one cutting onions and the other crying implies that there is a mismatch between the stated intentions of aid and the actual outcomes. Conclusion. In conclusion, the call to redirect Western financial aid away from the Middle East towards addressing domestic issues is rooted in concerns about the effectiveness, morality, and unintended consequences of such aid. While global stability remains a valid concern, the need to prioritize and address pressing issues within Western nations should not be overlooked. Reassessing the current approach to foreign aid requires a nuanced understanding of the complexities involved and a commitment to fostering positive change both domestically and globally.